What's going on, my good people? Welcome back to Play to Win with More Than a Coach. Mike Holmes here, where I focus on scholarship over emotionalism when dealing with each aspect of life. And today, I'm coming with a different topic. I find it the most beneficial information for me in my life at this moment. But I want to share it because of the results that it has produced. Within me. And within me, and then also outwardly in my life. So let's say through my research and study, and I just realized I could read the Bible for myself. So one of the biggest things was that the Bible says that God is within you, the kingdom of heaven is within you. But and so when I realized to use my own brain and my own mind and to understand the Bible, for me, like I say, it's like, because if you go to school, if it's a book, and if you can go and comprehend things in school and get certain grades, or, graduate high school, graduate college and all that kind of stuff, that means you're a pretty intelligent person. So reading the Bible, understanding the Bible is the same thing. Just what I'm saying. But anyway, to get from that, like I said, it was the God complex. Like, that's where I came from, Then I moved from like religion and Christianity. I got off into, some information, like conscious community, dealing with, so-called black people and all that kind of stuff, and the biggest thing about these things is that, like, none of these things teach you about yourself. They don't teach you to become your best self, your higher self, your truer self. You're being taught to use who you are to enhance their mission, which is not really being you. And that's another thing that I experienced too, because, in these groups of people and these groups of things, like when you be you, then it's a problem. When you think for yourself, or when you voice your opinion about something, then you're a problem, or it's a problem, because you're using your own mind to make things make sense for you, and you're just not following blindly what they're saying or what they're doing. Now, it seems that you're a problem. And so the information don't talk about, and the Play to Win way, which is my way, is that I'm going to be sharing people how to be the best them, their truest them, for the benefit of themselves, how to use their energy for their best interest. Even this information, you just take it and use it for your best interest. I'm not looking for you to follow anything, because the things that I'm going to be sharing is actually leading you and guiding you to discover more about yourself. And this basically, why I'm not, this is basically what this is. Like I said, through my research and study, this is what I learned, that, if you want to say in ancient times, people, this is really the lesson that they live by. So with that being said, the first teaching was self-mastery. It became known as Sutin Nati, which is man know thyself, or it could be woman know thyself, or child know thyself. And this became a way of life for them, But over time, it got lost, and so the Play to Win way is the self-discovery, self-mastery system. I say, this is the Play to Win way. This is the way that I'm going to share. This is the way I'm going to communicate it to you all. And like I say, you take it for what it is. If you can take what you can use that makes sense to you, and the rest of it that don't, just let it be. Or like they say, you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, however that goes, whatever. But so getting started. And so with that being said, it's a phrase. It's titled, like I said, self-mastery, self-discovery. And the phrase is, I, self, law, am master. Like I said, this makes a lot of sense to me. Or another way is to say, I, or self, is the law you must master. And so basically what it's saying is that you must master yourself. This is what the I, self, law, and master this message is about. It's about learning yourself, discovering yourself, mastering yourself. You're not looking on the outside of you for things. You're mastering yourself. And so this information, like, it helped me, it helped me to, discover more about me and different aspects of me, where, I may have like felt it or, seen it, but I never really put a magnifying glass on those things to see why I may do this or why I may feel this way about certain things. And so with this lesson, this is what this is about. I'm going to be sharing some different aspects to where you can look and, you can look and go research yourself, about you And it can help you better understand yourself. And when you better understand yourself, you can better understand the world, you know what I'm saying, that you're in, and then you can understand better the people around you. You know what I'm saying? Which this information can enhance a lot of things. Like I feel like it can enhance relationships, you know what I'm saying, personal, family, you know, business, anything. It can enhance a lot of things because you have a better understanding of yourself. And when you understand yourself, like just from my perspective, my experience, then you definitely can understand people better. Like I said, we're not too much different, even though we're unique individuals, you know what I'm saying, different within our own right. We're still not that much different. And so the first I'm going to start with I, self, law, and master, the play to win way. Through my research and study, I found that like in ancient times, this was what they lived by. You know what I'm saying? It was about, you know, studying, learning and studying and mastering yourself, your individual self. You know, like a lot of times this translation get lost in self. You know, self is more explained as a communal thing, but the play to win way, we're talking about learning your individual self. You know, and I like to explain things, you know, break things down to the simplest form, you know, for people to get it and understand. So this is what I'm doing with this. So we're going to define what I is. So I is actually the ninth letter in the alphabet, and it coincides with what is called self-consciousness. And so self-consciousness is defined as the knowledge of one's existence, especially the knowledge of one's self, which, like I said, the play to win way is individual self as a conscious being. Then next, so conscious. So conscious is defined as, you know, how I would say we will go with the original definition as it fits it fits better with the play to win winning way of life. You know what I'm saying? Explaining this this phrase, and that is the original definition of conscious is knowing of oneself. And also this ties into the word ego. So ego is defined as a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance, or idea or opinion of oneself, especially your feeling of your own importance and ability. And also ego is from Latin, which literally means I. And then we're going to move on to self. So self is defined as a person's essential being, such as personality and ability, that are not physical and that distinguishes them from others. So I'm gonna read that again. Self is a person's essential being, such as personality and ability, that are not physical, that distinguishes them from others. And so moving on to essential. So I want to explain what essential means. Essential is defined as extremely important or necessary to the nature of someone or the individual, that they cannot live or succeed without. So next, we're going to move on to law. So like I said, we did I, self, now law. And law is defined as the body of divine commandments which guide your life according to your nature and your individuality. Like I said, this is the play to win way. This is how I'm sharing it with y'all. This is how things are defined, the play to win way, with this phrase, I, self, law, and master. And remember, it means the I individual, their self is the law, you know what I'm saying, like I say, which I just explained, which is the body of divine commandments, which guides your life according to your nature and individuality, and master. So these are things you must master. And so moving on to am is a form of be, and be means to exist or live in a permanent or a temporary quality or state. And then lastly here, with the I, self, law, and master. Master is a person who gains control of one's individual self through acquiring complete knowledge of oneself. And so, like, this is the beginning of it. So, like I say, you can rewind this, you can go back over it, but understanding like I, self, law, and master, or to better understand that I and self is the law that one must master. You know what I'm saying? So basically just like you mastering yourself. You're mastering who you are as an individual. And that is a way of life. Like I say, this is the ancient, like I say, from my research and study, this is the ancient teachings that, you know, people were taught back in ancient times, which uh, a lot of information has gotten away from this, because like I say, a lot of things, like just from my research and my experience, like I say, a lot of things when you go and you want to talk about, spirituality, or you want to talk about anything, they're not teaching you about yourself. You're learning you learn about whatever they got going on, you know what I'm saying, or you learn about them. They're not learning about yourself. But like I say, the play to win way, and with this oneself law and master teaching is that we're going to teach you to use your energy, your mind, to benefit you, in your best interest. And so with that being said, this is the first part, like I say, and then I'll be moving on to the second part of this in the next video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Peace, and play to win.